Hello, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the pool party. I hope you can swim because we're definitely diving into the deep end with a huge splash of truth, facts, evidence, information, and proof. Swim. Say what you mean. It's talk about talking. How we listen, how we hear, how we speak, how we hear what we're listening to when we speak, how a listener hears what we're saying, if what we're saying, what they're actually hearing and or understanding. Is it clear? Swim. Say what you mean. Well, that's just the beginning of understanding, because after we get that understanding, how do we accept it? How we respond if it's not what we expect is paramount. Are you okay with the truth? Are you man, woman, human, or spiritual enough to accept the truth? Let's find out.
Yeah, let's do that.
Welcome to The Swimming Pool with your host, Travis Bridges.
Hey, that would be yours truly, and thank you so much for joining me on The Swimming Pool. SWYM. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. You already know it's important to do that because guess what? Not everyone says what they mean. Not everyone does what they say. You know how the story goes. It's never ending. It's a cycle and it just continues to go. Well, I'm trying to be the first man in history to change that. Well, what makes me so special? Well, nothing. I just feel like, putting forth the effort, is worthwhile in doing so. Whoa, what did I just do? Why did I do that? That's not what I wanted to. I wanted to do this. And that's why I'm doing it. Well, supposedly nobody's perfect and you can't be perfect. But when you know better, you're supposed to do better. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to do better because I do know better. There's some things that I learned along the way from childhood and when I was a teenager and a young man and an older man and now almost about to be older. I can't say the word old. I just said it though, didn't I? But anyway, I've got a good one for you. Tonight I have a guest standing by and we're going to go on and in a few minutes. But I do want to talk about, why I'm here. I was talking about being the first man, in the history of, trying to do what he says. And I'm just finding it's almost like, when you're in the market for a vehicle and you say you want a red whatever. And then, while you're looking for them, you see them everywhere. It's called, I don't know what it's called, but, you put it on your radar and somehow the energy just picks it up and that's what you see everywhere. Well, now that I'm trying to make good on everything that I say and everything that I do, I'm almost finding the opposite. I will interact with people and they will say one thing and they will tell you something else and it'll sound so good. I'm going to name drop. I think it was Tyrese who said, excuses sound so good to the people who are making them. But then when you're on the other end, it's almost like, huh? And you can't be mad at people because especially if you're asking someone to do something for you, you have to be okay that they're even just talking to you, let alone trying to commit to something. But that's just the way it is. We have all this technology, text messages, emails, phone calls, and you can call somebody, send someone a text message and an email. And maybe if you're not important, they won't call you back. Maybe that's the deal. I think I just solved all of my problems. Maybe I'm not important, but that's not true. I am important. Maybe what I'm searching for or what I need or what I'm looking for from someone, maybe they can't fulfill it, so then they won't call. I think I've had that conversation with myself a few times. You know how sometimes we all want to feel that we are somebody, and we are, but somehow or another we like to stand a little taller, than we are. We like to add extra shoes, not shoes, heels, shoes that have high heels. And I'm wondering, Women, is that why you wear high heels? Is it because, as a fashion statement, or you want to be taller? Well, back to my point, if you need someone to do something for you and they can't do it, but they don't want you to know that they can't do it, they'll just ignore you. Anyway, I'm trying to get too far into that, and I don't want to do that. I'm going to go to my guest, but before I go to my guest, I'm going to talk about my topic/subject. And before I do, I'm going to say what's up to Christine. Christine is hanging out with me. Christine, I really appreciate it. I would hate to think that you have nothing else to do on a Wednesday evening, nothing better to do than to wait for me. And I know better than that. I'm just, making light of it. I appreciate the support. And, just like, the ram in the bush, the Lord would always have one person there. I have a few other people that support me, and I really appreciate it. But you only really need one. And whether it's 1 or 100 or 100,000 or 1 million, it's okay. I'm here not because I'm trying to get numbers, but because I made a commitment that I wanted to make a difference. And as I was talking earlier about trying to do what I say and bringing awareness to how we listen when we even speak ourselves. If you say you're going to do something, try to do it. Okay? Even if it's to yourself. If you say you're going to lose some weight, lose the weight. Okay? It's really not that hard. I remember playing at an event one time, and this was after my first 100 pounds that I lost. I said to the audience, I'm going to tell y'all a secret about weight loss, because everybody could clearly see that I had made some changes. And I said, I'm going to tell you the secret. And they were all waiting for me to tell the secret. And I said, well, the secret is that there is no secret. And they were like, ah. So what I meant by that was there is no secret. If you have a plan, execute the plan. You know what you're supposed to eat. You know what you're not supposed to eat. You know what you're supposed to drink. And you know that you're supposed to get a certain amount of exercise in. If you do that, the results are 100% guaranteed. But guess what? Correct. We won't do it. And then we wonder why. Like one of my guests said, I just don't know why I can't seem to lose these 50 pounds. Well, I knew then and I know now. And I'll say it even for myself. If you don't do it, don't expect to get it. Okay, back to my topic. It's called Y'all Play Too Much. And musicians, stop playing. Stop playing, because y'all play too much. I like the idea that I can use the word play and play on the word play. You get it? No? I'll say it again. I like the word that I can use the word play and play on the word play. As a musician, I can do that. So I'm saying y'all play too much because, of course, it's a popular saying, but all musicians, that's what we do. If we are musicians, we really like to play. And I'm going to get into, why I like to play and how I like to play with my guest. And I'm going to get my guest on right now because I'm going to try to get out of here in a half hour. You might hear my voice sounds like I've got a fro. Let's see if I can sound like Barry White while my voice is a little tired. Sure, you're right. I want to tell you about one special secret. Yeah, okay. Anyway, sounds like my guest is already there. You there, honey? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. You got to talk up a little bit. I can't hear you.
All right.
Okay, let's see if I can. Well, I could hear you before. I just didn't think, the phone. And I'm just a stickler for sound. Even if it's right, I'm going to hear something. So, and not that it wasn't right, but I think there's always room for improvement. So if you're good, you're good. So how was your day?
Oh, it's been busy, but a blessed day.
Okay, you got it. You're holding it down. It's almost over now. You got just a couple more hours and it'll be a new day. You have to do it all over again.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Okay, so listen. I selected you again to be my guest because another one of your posts. And as you can see, I took it and ran with it. Did you hear what my title was, my subject? Did you hear me talking about my subject?
I did, and I like to play on words, play.
Okay, yeah. So this is going to be good because I have known you for a long, long time. And ever since I knew you from way back when, I knew that you could fram some piano keys. And even to this
I do my
day,
best. I do my best.
I hear about you. I know you're still doing it. And when I saw that post of yours today, it's not the first time that I've heard that one and or many like it. And what I would like for you to do is talk about the post and then read it verbatim if you can. It sounds like you've got some stuff going on in the background. I know we talked about that a few minutes ago. It's okay. We're going to make it anyway.
But no problem. I'm with my family tonight. I had planned for things to be a little bit more quiet, but when you have a rambunctious 18-month-old, we deal with it. But nevertheless, the post deals with hiring a musician, and that's within any genre, any instrument, including voice, piano, saxophone, trumpet, organ, etc., etc. It deals with what goes on behind the scenes when you hire a musician.
It's okay. I'm still with you.
And what,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hold on. You said in hiring a musician, it's not just that we show up. I muted something for a minute. Just go ahead. Continue after that. I didn't want my audience to miss that. In hiring a musician, it's not that we just show up. Go ahead.
That's right. We don't just show up. There's some preparation that goes on prior to showing up and getting what you asked for or what you projected to pay for. That's what the post was all about.
Mm-hmm. Can you read the whole thing? Are you in position to read it? Please read it for me.
Can.
Okay, y'all, listen to this. This is what I read today, and we're going to talk about it because, of course, I'm a little biased because I'm a musician, and this is what it was for. But it really does apply to all professions or any kind of service. But anyway, go ahead. I'm listening. We're going to read the official post.
I'm going to also preface this reading with, when you call upon me or I'm contacted, you're getting a double duo in one, because I also play, not only do I play piano and or organ, I'm a vocalist as well, so my voice is also an instrument. But the post states hiring a musician or asking them to perform at your event. What you think you're paying for is someone to perform some music. What you're actually paying for are the following items: someone to perform some music, plus equipment and instruments, hours of rehearsal time, rehearsal space, transportation to and from the venue, the amount of money spent on lessons and training to become the musicians that we are, promotion and website costs, the percentages that goes to income taxes, telephone and internet bills, spending and organizing for the performance and the rehearsal, any managers, agents, or other booking fees, insurance, and not to mention the payment also has to cover food, housing, bills, and all other living expenses. Then it says, still think that offering exposure and experience is a fair price? You wouldn't expect a plumber, carpenter, hairdresser, doctor, dentist, physician, electrician, chef, mechanic, dressmaker, or shop owner to work for free, now would you?
Negative. So what I'm going to do with that is, listening to all of that is like, as long as I've been playing, professionally, I've heard all of those and more. And some of the most famous ones is, hey, listen, you can get some exposure, and or, hey, why don't you play and let us see what you can do. Let us hear you. And I want to share a story, and I kind of prayed about this a little bit. I want to share the most recent one because it's fresh on my mind. I went and played, because I wanted to, for a particular organization. And the moment I played, it was so cool. It's like I just felt like I needed to do it, and I did it, and it was awesome. And then, after the event, they said, hey, man, that's cool. Maybe we should do something, and have an event. And, they put this whole what is the word, like a scenario out. We can do this, we can do that, and we can charge this, we can charge that. And in my mind, I was thinking, I could hear my mama's voice saying, they're seeing you as dollar signs. But I was like, okay, well, that's why I came. I kind of did that on my own time, and I was giving, for the purpose of hoping that perhaps they would like it. And sure enough, they did. And even in the middle of talking about it, I'm just going to stop. I'll tell you off air, but it went to a point to where, they wanted to work me like a dog and then let me take all of the risks. And as nicely and as kind as I could, it's like, hey, listen, that's not who I am. It's not what I do. And it's not why I'm here. If you want me to use, if you want to use my gifts, skills, and talents, I don't mind you doing that. But there is a cost involved, and well, by the time we ironed out where it would be, their responsibility to actually pay for the service, that deal kind of sort of went down and it didn't work out. And I wasn't upset. It's like, this was just an opportunity for me to exercise my right, as a skilled professional, to not be abused by someone who clearly, I think they meant well, but they didn't want to take the risk. And that's another long story. Please, I've got to tell you the details. I'm just not going to mention it on air. But what is the deal? Why is it? And this is what I said in my description. I said that music is so available. You can turn on your phone, the radio, and music is pirated so much. Music is, it's almost like free. So when you hire a professional to actually, do the music live, whether it's a DJ or a musician, solo, or a band, people kind of sort of say, well, we get music free all the time. Why are you going to cost so much? Well, because I'm here, and I have to prepare to get here. And it's not easy. Absolutely. And I've heard the saying coming, this is something I never bought as a musician. I've heard, whether it's in a movie or someone's just talking, they'll say, I'm a struggling musician. I've never felt that way. I've never wanted to have those words come out of my mouth as a struggling musician, or even as a working musician, because although it is work, I don't call it work when I play. What I, ask for payment for is what it cost me to be able to play, as all those things you mentioned and then some. So I'm going to let you chime in because I have so much to say, and if I'm not careful, I will have talked up all the time. So
and that's cool. And look, one that they left out of the list is that we have to prep a hair done, haircut, outfit, shoes, etc., depending upon the situation.
Dry cleaning.
And a lot of people think 80% of my performance is in the church or church venues, and there's a tendency that folks want to say that you should be able to do certain things out of the goodness of your heart. But the Bible also says that man is worthy of his idols. So there must be some pay, to accommodate what you got going on.
Yeah.
Goodness of your heart, it has nothing to do with all of the time and the prep that you put behind the performance. In some instances, I have to play.
Hold on, did you just walk into a hollow room? Because everything changed just now.
Let me step outside.
I heard that.
So, is that better?
Well, anything was better than that. Sounds like you went into a bathroom at the stadium.
No, I'm good. We're good. I'm back in.
Well, I've got a sensitive ear. You know how we are. You didn't think I would hear that?
Of course. My bad. But nevertheless, they want you to prepare. They want you to sing. They want you to play. Or they want you to be able to accompany others that are singing that you've never seen before, never heard before.
Right.
And that preparation you can't be prepared for.
Right.
Unless your natural skill is there, your book sense is there, your craft, your gift. All of that has to be in place for you to be able to pick up that person or to know that song that they're going to sing.
Right.
2 minutes, 2 seconds before they get up to perform. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot more involved than just the list that we quoted.
Absolutely. And I get this one. Hey, listen, there's going to be a DJ and we want you to play along with the DJ. It's like, wait, I played with backing tracks or I play with a band, or at least an accompanist like a pianist or a guitarist, or but
Yeah.
with a
Yeah.
DJ, you don't know what you're gonna get. And I know some DJs that are great. And there's this, like pitch control. I played with a DJ one time, and he
Uh-huh.
had not, like a sophisticated system. And when he would speed up the
Right.
song, it would change the pitch of the song. And it's like, wait a minute, what are you
Right.
doing? No, this isn't going to work. So as much as I'm a DJ myself, and I offer that as a service, with my services, I am not a fan of playing with DJs, especially for a long time. One or two songs, you can groove in between,
Right.
a mix, but it's just not my thing. And then you get that, hey, there's going to be a singer there. We want you to play along with the singer. Yeah, music is universal, and if it's a key or a chord and we're on the same key and same chord, yes, we can harmonize, we
Yeah.
can make things happen. But you're
Right.
not just dealing with the keys and the chords, you're dealing with energy, you're dealing with styles and even attitudes, So I like to work alone, or I like to be well rehearsed. The impromptu stuff has
Exactly.
never been a favorite, of mine. And although I do it all the time, I really like to be prepared and know where I'm going.
Absolutely.
There's something else. I mean, I want to hear more from you also, but I want to share this. And I was telling you this today when we were kind of prepping for this. I have quite a few colleagues that are musicians. And, there's this old saying. I remember my first job. One of the first things I learned was, don't discuss your salary with your other coworkers. Don't talk about what you make or what you, take home and what you do. And I learned that the hard way many times. But just for the
I
sake of
definitely will.
this, for the sake of this live stream, I have quite a few colleagues in the business that are excellent musicians, particularly saxophone players. And I look at their rates, sometimes they'll say it, or, I'll hear it through other, vendors or, agents who will say, oh, then why is your rate so different? I don't compare what I do with what someone else is doing. And there's this saying that says you can value something all you want, but the market really determines, the value. I can take that and I can leave that, because the market may determine, but I don't always have to accept, things that are, not, where if I'm not going to be the best. And I work really hard. I've never been late to a gig in all of my life. I've been playing saxophone since I was 10. I've never been late. I've never, ever not shown up. Like, people will not show up, or they'll, that it's just not who I am. And I want to say this, and then I'm going to let you speak, and I'm going to try to close. What my rate includes has nothing to do with the actual playtime. By the time I get on a stage or in front of an audience, that's when I get to enjoy, what I've prepared. Playing the saxophone is a joy. It's a pleasure. I enjoy doing it. It's just like, even I write and produce commercials. When I hand over the finished product, it's like, man, that's I enjoy putting it together. I enjoy, and that's why, they say, you gift because it's the easiest thing, or it's what you can do most effectively with, I think it's the least amount of effort. And I'm trying to stay focused on my point. What my rate includes has to do with what goes into it. If someone could just pass me a saxophone and I walk up to a place and all I have to do is just play whatever it is I want to play, just right on the spot, then maybe I wouldn't have a rate. But I have to prepare. I have to pack gear up. I have to load it. I have to unpack it. I have to set it up. I have to run cables and wires, because I'm my own engineer. And I have to make a commitment. If I say I'm going to be at your event on December 3rd, and then, my cousin and them come to town and they want to go out and do something exciting, I can't go and do it because I've made a commitment to you. And my word is my bond. I like to say what I mean and mean what I say and do what it is I'm committed to. So my rate includes my professionalism. I buy top-notch gear so that you don't hear squeaking and popping and all that. It's like when I show up, I try to dress the part. I try to, if it's in a formal event, I make sure my tux is pressed and ready to go. and everything that's involved. I get there in time. I call if it's a wedding. I want to speak with the venue. I want to speak with the DJ. I want to speak with the planner. I want to find out how can I be the best I can to help everything go smoothly. Because if someone has a wedding and let's say I'm just the musician or just the engineer or the sound person, and the flower company have an issue. If I'm there and they're bringing stuff in, I'll hold the door. I'll pick stuff up. I want it all to work, and that's a part of my services and my rate. It's included in everything that I do, because once I'm committed, especially after I have a deposit, I'm there to make sure that your event is a success. And I never say this. I'm probably going to get in trouble. I'm going to reveal this for the first time. I always do more than I get, hired for. And I'm going to say this too. I'm going to get in trouble. Maybe none of my vendors or potential clients will listen to me. I don't like 4-hour gigs. I just don't. And I will say, okay, I'm only going to be able to do 3. Or if I get booked for a 4-hour gig, I'll negotiate after the deal is done. Say, hey, listen, instead of doing 4 hours and taking 2 or 3 breaks, what if I just do 3 hours and don't take a break? And they think about it for a moment, and they'll say, well, that's pretty cool. Because taking a break, just like, it's not cool for me. And the band, when I play with the band, they hate me for that because, I don't like taking breaks. I'm not there to take a break. And everywhere I go, I hear the band say, we're going to take a small pause for the cause. We'll be right back. It's just not who I am, and I'm not knocking my, fellow musicians. And if I need a break, I'm going to take it. But very seldom do I need a break. I enjoy what I'm doing so much that I don't want to take a break. So I never reveal that. And they're always impressed, because even if I don't reveal it, and if it's on and popping and I'm still playing, I'm not somewhere taking a break, smoking a cigarette or getting me a drink or calling my cousin, to have it's just not who I am. It's not what I do. And I take pride in what it is that I offer, and I value it, fairly high. And I expect, for people to do what they say they're going to do, because guess what I do? I do what I say I'm going to do. Anyway, please chime in, because I'm doing too much talking. You talk.
No, you're good. I will say in finality, I guess, in some instances, I guess some people may have been duped by other musicians, so they've kind of gotten what they paid for. But in your case and in my case, I'm going to give you top notch. I'm going to be on time. I'm going to do what is asked. I will have asked for requests ahead of time, especially if it's a funeral or wedding, so that I can be my best in case whatever the piece has been chosen or requested that is in my singing range, because that's very important. I'm nobody's Tamla Man, but I'm nobody's Barry White either. I'm just Roberta. I'm just who I am. Mm-hmm. And if I can fit that into what you want without changing the color of that piece or the flavor of that piece, then, that's extra work. Mm-hmm. 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 So I've got to sit down, I've got to transpose, I've got to make sure I'm good, I've got to make sure my throat's good. So yes, sir, there's a lot of detail that goes into that. And that's the part that folks don't see or don't want to see.
I think it's more like don't want to see. And no one wants a deal better than me. I am a chief negotiator when it comes to trying to stretch any kind of dollar that I have to spend. And I will find places where I can cut, and I will say, okay, well, if you, like when people do that to me, it's like, okay, well, if you have a sound system there, that could save you some time, effort, and energy for me. And then I can cut a rate. Or I'll say, okay, well, instead of doing 3 hours, let's just do an hour. But then that usually doesn't work for me, because I plan to be there. And let me just tell you another incident. This was I think it was my second to the last engagement. I got booked by a repeat client who knows my work and knows that I'm going to be there. And I guess times are a little tough. And she had the event on an off date. She know my rate is different, a Friday, Saturday. Right. and starts to go a little down on a Sunday, but a Thursday through Saturday is like it's premium. But she had an event in the early afternoon on Sunday, so she knew she could bargain, and I was like, okay, cool. And then she said, okay, it's only going to be 2 hours, and I was like, okay, I can do that. So I said, okay, I'm going to take it. Do you know I was there for like 5.5 hours?
Oh, wow.
Of course,
No.
she gave me a little something, for the extra. But when 2 hours turn into 5 hours, that's just not right. I know her, and I've never. It's like when a party's jumping. What I do, I'll offer my services as a musician, especially if I'm doing tracks without the band. I'll say okay, and then I'll go into DJ mode after the first 2 hours because people were doing their thing and they want to dance. And if I'm supposed to stop at 10 o'clock and the party's jumping, I never pull the plug. I will go over and say, hey, listen, you want me to keep going? And I'll give that look like, this might cost you a little more. But for the most part, if I'm paid well and I'm okay, I'll just go ahead and finish the event. But this one was one that kind of taught me a lesson, and I'm not mad at her, and I'll do it again for her. But the next time, I'll just maybe be clear. Listen, that if you book me for 2 hours and we go over 3, I'm just going to have to stop, okay? I wasn't upset. I'm not offended. I'm just sharing it with you because, it does happen. People will say one thing, and then they'll run up a big tab. And then it just, and I don't want to sound, rough or mean. This is between two musicians.
It's being firm and gentle at the same time.
And you know what? And if we weren't live on the air, we'd probably be talking a little bit more. It would probably be just between you and me. But I'm trying to be as professional as I can, and in the spirit of closing. I just want to bring attention. I mean, I hear these things all the time amongst musicians and people in the profession often, musicians in particular. It's a service, and we put a lot into it. We pride. Even musicians who sing and play off key still value what it is that they do. And even I've done it a few times. I've listened back and it's like, man, you were flat and you didn't even realize it. Maybe they didn't realize it either. But either way, the point I'm making is, we value what we do. It's not that, we're only going to play, because I'll get this one too. I'm going to ramble some more. They'll say, hey, listen, we only need you for an hour. But then you want me on a holiday weekend on a Saturday, and you only want me for an hour? Well, if you only want me for just one song, it's going to cost the same as 4 because I have to prepare.
Exactly.
Yeah. We only need you for like 30 minutes.
So?
Well, see.
And?
Yeah, right. And it's kind of harsh, you want to be humble, and you want to be, nice in the response, but it gets kind of tough sometimes, and it's not easy, and I'm just going to leave it right there. Closing thoughts from you.
Okay. All right.
Did I lose you? Hello?
Hello, I'm here.
No.
Yes.
Okay, no, I was saying I'm going to go ahead and close, but I want some closing thoughts from you before we take off.
I'd like for the general public to be aware that there is a tremendous amount of work that goes behind each service or performance that we give. Please take that into consideration and not look at us like a deer in headlights when we give you a price, whether it's by hour, by song, or by venue that we need to come and serve you. Take a look at that list of things and you'll see where we're coming from so that we can take you where you want to go.
Amen. Listen, I appreciate you, and this couldn't have come at a better time, and I couldn't have had a better person to have this conversation with. But we're going to talk about it more because I want to tell you about, the incident that happened, just a few weeks ago where they tried to work your boy. They tried to get me.
Wow.
And I wasn't even offended. It's like, I just can't do that. I really enjoy playing the saxophone. I really enjoy, writing script and voicing spots. Thank you. Oh, by the way, I've got two videos that are coming up tonight. Something that I did like 5 years ago. I found some stuff And then I put it together yesterday and today. So I think they're coming up at 10:30 and 10:15 and 11:15 if I have the time right. But it's overnight tonight or sometime later tonight. I've got two videos that are going to premiere, and I just put it there because you know what, I want my grandchildren to say, well, that's what my grandpappy did. And this is who he was. And maybe they can see my good energy in some of the stuff that I leave behind, like the two CD projects and all the videos that I leave up. I'm not doing them just so that I can be seen only. You know, I kind of want to leave a legacy in that way. Then my grandkids are probably going to say, well, you know, you probably could have just left us some more money instead of these videos on YouTube. Well, I'm working on that too,
but the
y'all.
legacy is going to be so much more rich.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, and I'm believing that. I want them to feel my energy and my soul. But anyway, I'm going to let you go, and we will talk. I love you so much. I appreciate you, and keep on playing. Hey, listen, why don't we do something? Why don't the next time, because you know I've been traveling a lot. Next time I'm around, why don't we do this? Let's just put it out there. Let's put it out there. And I'm putting it on the dashboard right now. Why don't we collaborate and do something?
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
We've talked about it before, but we just had been in the same place at the same time. But yes, let's. The next
Yeah.
time that you're this close,
Why don't let's? I tell you what. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead.
and clear my book.
How about this? Maybe around the holidays or around the first of the year, you and I, you know, let's set something up. Let's do that.
Okay.
You and me, let's make it happen. I like that. I'm liking that idea already. And you know, we can start it, you know, with you and me, and we can add some more. You know, we can add a drummer and a bass player and a guitar. We can add some because there's some folks around town. You know, we can call some names and get something going. But let's set something up, man. Let's make something happen.
Okay.
All
Awesome.
right.
You got
Awesome.
me on it.
All right. Listen, have a wonderful evening. Thank you again,
You
and
did the same.
I'll talk to you. I love you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.
We'll talk.
Good
Love
night.
you. All right.
All right.
Love you.
There you have it, my friends. Another edition. I have a couple of different locations, you know, even in the car. You know, I can go live now. And this is another one of my favorite locations. Last week, I had, you know, the main studio kind of set up and everything was working. And I didn't even get to do it because my voice is a little tired. And I need to make some other things happen before I actually crash. But, you know, for what it's worth, it worked out. Christine, thank you so much. And everybody else. Charlotte Evans is in the house. Hey, Charlotte. How you doing? Yeah, you know what? You're going to live a long time because I was thinking about you earlier today. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call you when I get off this live stream just to holler at you. But I was thinking about y'all earlier today. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. Remember, we're musicians. We like to play. And if you can catch us at the right time, I always have this little joke. I say, if somebody beg me, I'll play for free. Not because I have an ego, but it's like, clearly, if you ask for something more than once or twice, you need it really bad. And I don't play for money. I give that service away. What I do charge for is what it costs me to prepare. So with that being said, when anyone gives you a rate, consider first, you know, that it's their gift, skill, and talent. I want to say this. I want to tell this story, and then I'm going to go. I'll never forget this. One of my musician friends who is also did air conditioning services, and he told me this story, and I never forgot it. But he said another one of our musician friends called him about fixing the air, and it was in the middle of the summertime. This is a good story, so be patient with me. She said, she called him up on the phone and said, hey, it's hot. You know, my AC ain't working. And he said, okay, no problem. And she said, well, how much you going to charge me to do this? And he told her how much it would be. And she said, okay, I'll call you back. And then he figured out what she was doing because she told him later, but he knew it. She called around 3 or 4 other people, and they were much higher because he was giving her the hookup rate. So, of course, another day or two went by and it got hotter and she was trying to find the deal. So finally she said, okay, come on over and do it and fix the air conditioning. So he went over and he went back there and he said he did this and he told me what he did. And he said, he said he found the problem right away. And when he fixed the problem, you know, he packed his tools up and he said to her, go ahead and then turn it on now. And she turned it on, and then he went to gather his stuff, put his stuff in the truck, and he was writing out the invoice. And she said, how much you gonna charge? And he told her how much. She said, well, you gonna charge me that much for 15 minutes? And he said, that's what I told you it was going to be from the beginning. But then she said, but you were only here for 15 minutes. Why are you gonna charge me that much? Not keeping in mind that the other rates were higher and they were friends and he was giving her the hookup anyway. And I said all that to say this. He said, this is something you need to understand. You didn't charge me for what I did. And I don't charge you for what I do. I charge you for what I know. Because you couldn't do that. And if it took me 1 second, it's worth it because now you're cool. So pay me. Anyway, I'm going to leave on that note. I hope I didn't sound harsh or mean or arrogant or anything other than humble, in that if I make a deal with you and even let's just say you can't pay me eventually, okay? Or if someone else, if the electrician or the AC dude or the plumber chick comes by, go ahead and hook these people up, because they're not necessarily paying you for what they do, but what they know, as well as what they have invested in order to know. So with that being said, Charlotte, Christine, everybody else, it looks like I've got 11 views, but only 3 current. So that means 11 people either checked in or I've got some people in the background. And if you by chance are watching this on another day and another time, let's just say 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And before I go, I just want to tell you, I am here to bring awareness to how we listen, how we hear, what we do with information when we get it. Sometimes if we believe something, whether it's true or not, we run with that. If we hear something, whether it's what someone means or not, we have to take our time to make sure we're getting what we are hearing and even what we're feeling. Okay? So listen, hear, pay attention, ask questions, take the information you have and use it wisely based on what is presented to you and not necessarily how you feel, what you believe, or what you think. It's called swim. And it's say what you mean what you say. Wish I had some background music to ride out on, but I don't. So, till the next time, take really good care of yourself. Find someone that you need to say I love you to, and don't just say it, but mean it and show it. Till the next time, I will holler. Good night.
SWYM. Swim. Say what you mean. As much as this information is designed to bring awareness to how we listen, hear, and process, it is also a form of therapy. The little person inside of all of us needs to be heard. As adults, even listening to ourselves is a form of healing, strengthening, and growth. It's okay to speak, talk, express yourself, and be heard, even if you're the only listener. If our testimony does anything at all for anyone else, that makes the continued effort worth the time. Get the words out. You'll feel better, and that's a promise. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, and don't forget to check out my live, well not live, I have a video.
Sometimes it seems like all the good times are gone.
Okay.
But you got to keep on searching. You got to keep on keeping on.
For
example, take me standing right here today. I would not be here with you if I believed the things that the people say. You got to keep on searching. Keep it on the cool side. Keep on looking around.
Oh yeah, I just want to say this. I've got 2 videos coming up in like the next hour or so. Stuff that I did a long time ago. Well, one was that. Well, I've been doing some of the old Gulfstream stuff, but this was during the COVID concert series. So Anyway, have a good night. I'll see you later. All right.